Morning. I call this meeting to order at 7:03 PM. If you're able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please?
Kelly.
Here.
LaSalle.
Here.
Mikulski.
Here.
Sabatini.
Here.
Leaksmay.
Here. And now approval of the agenda, please.
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda with one change.
All right.
I'd like to table 7J until the next meeting in July.
7J.
Consent agenda.
All right.
Support the approval of the agenda with the amendment proposed by Mayor Pro Tem Mikulski.
All in favor of the agenda with amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, so now it looks like we have a couple of presentations today. First one being Affirmations Community Center update. Hello, welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Thank you for the opportunity to share an update on Affirmations, your LGBTQ plus community center right here in Ferndale. As Michigan's largest and one of the longest standing LGBTQ community centers in the state, Affirmations continues to serve as a hub for mental health care, youth and adult support, arts and culture, basic needs assistance, and community connection. In 2025, we saw the impact of that work in powerful ways. Last year, more than 30,000 individuals and families came through our programs and services, everything from counseling and support groups to wellness programs, food assistance, and resource navigation. Our mental health program provided over 3,500 counseling visits, delivered by a team of licensed and student therapists supporting individuals, couples, and groups. We also held 40 vaccination and testing clinics, helping strengthen community health access right here in Ferndale. And none of this would be possible without our volunteers, over 230 people who help run programs, the food pantry, health outreach, and peer-led support, or peer-led groups. Those numbers tell a story of scale, but what we are seeing in 2026 tells a story of momentum. So far this year, just through May, over 11,000 folks have already walked through our doors. That's a pace that will surpass last year's engagement, and it reflects a growing need for safe, affirming community spaces. In January, we hosted an open house that brought more than 150 people in the center to reconnect with our programs and staff. In March, probably my favorite event, don't tell Ferndale Pride. Okay, Ferndale Pride's one of my favorite events too. But in March, we reopened our gallery in partnership with the Downtown Development Authority as part of their Art March, strengthening our role as a cultural anchor in Ferndale. Our annual Youth Prom and Prom Review together welcomed over 30 attendees. These events give LGBTQ plus young people and adults the chance to experience joy, safety, and belonging, often for the first time. Our partnership with Ferndale Pride has also grown significantly. This year, several thousand people came through our doors during Pride Weekend alone, using the center as a gathering space, a cooling space, and a community hub. Just last Thursday, we hosted our Give Out Day celebration with Ferndale Project, and what is just as amazing, we had more than a dozen local businesses right here in Ferndale participate in our campaign. That kind of local partnership is what keeps our work sustainable and deeply rooted in this community. Across all of this, our mission remains the same: to improve the quality of life for LGBTQ plus Michiganders through education, advocacy, community connection, and inclusive services. And our vision, an equitable world where LGBTQ plus people can love, live, and thrive, continues to guide every program we offer. Affirmations is proud to call Ferndale home. We are grateful for the city's ongoing support, and we look forward to continuing to serve as a resource, a partner, and a place belonging for everyone who walks through our doors. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our community where all people can thrive. Thank you.
Our next presentation is the 2026 Ferndale Environmental Sustainability Commission Annual Report.
Hopefully I don't mess this up. Can I just click on it, James? Need some help, some tech help.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor Leaks May, City Council, neighbors. My name is Andrea Popovich, and I'll be presenting a little bit about the Ferndale Environment Sustainability Commission. And I do want to mention, we do have quorum here, so that's very nice to see. So what is FESC's role? We're dedicated to furthering the city of Ferndale's sustainability goals. I'll try not to read, but I'll get nervous and I'll just read from the slides, I apologize. So we work with city staff, officials, commissions, and community partners, and we're an advisory board to City Council on anything and everything that goes around sustainability or in the environment. Plan Ferndale incorporates the city's climate action plan as part of the city's broader planning framework. The plan is intended to guide policy decisions, inform changes to city regulations, inform resource and budget decisions, and measure progress towards city goals. And FESC's annual work supports this implementation role through policy review, public education, and we'll get a little bit more into the details. Our 2025 goals were to develop a draft comprehensive plan for residential energy efficiency and engage in educational events, including tabling, newsletter, blog posts, and just other publications. And our third goal was to connect with 2 or more public bodies, including any kind of presentations that go as far as anything that, goes along the lines of sustainability policies, recommendations, and guidance. Then the 2025 work connected to climate action would be, the energy and residential efficiency, waste reduction and recycling, urban forestry, tree canopy, water, stormwater, and green infrastructure, transportation and EVs, ordinance and zoning alignment, and just community education and engagement. Last year we had an event that the subcommittee, the Energy Efficiency Subcommittee put together at the end of last year on December 10th. And it was, we all have a little bit older homes. There's always something that we can do as far as, preventing any energy that gets out of the home. I'm trying to find the right words. Just to kind of insulate, obviously it was December, so we talked about insulation and how to make sure that, close up any of the gaps that you have in your home, potentially. We are planning this year to do this again, but now in October, since October is Energy Efficiency Awareness Month. So keep out, we will have some communication about this as well. And then ordinances and policy reviews, like I said, we're just an advisory board, so we, the city council comes to us and presents us with any ordinances or anything you guys would like us to chime in as far as environment and sustainability goes. So we're actively working on the tree ordinance. There's the balloon release ordinance, the plastic bag ordinance discussion, and just the EV master plan that needs to be reviewed every couple of years. Community engagement, I think it's really important for us to get out there. I don't think many neighbors know about us, so it's always important for us to, be visible. So a couple of the events that we did throughout the year, Walking Lightly had a Earth Day event with a couple of different vendors, and we had Jim over there talking about how to, put on a rain barrel, how to winterize it, what to do with it, how to keep it intact. So thank you, Jim. And then trash pickups, I'll talk about this a little bit briefly at the end because it's something new that we're doing. So we participated at the Pollinator Parade, Think Spring, Arbor Day senior event, and we also got some free radon test kits that we distributed at the beginning of this year, and we still have a couple of left with an expiration date of next year, so we'll be able to get those out to our residents as well next year, because we want to do that in the colder months. And then the home efficiency workshop that we did last year as well. Education and outreach material. We got a grant a couple years, like 2 years I think ago, and put a seed package together with Nicole was one of the people that really worked on that on the subcommittee, and we still have about 44, only 44 of those left, so they went somewhere in our gardens, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll get to see them. I mentioned the free radon tests, just recycling education material, the energy efficiency material, and then the rain barrel demonstrations. We all like to see numbers. It's always nice to have some numbers attached to these things. So we had 137 new residential food scrap signups. That is a total of 1,466 registered households, but I am sure there's more people that just don't feel like registering and are still using it. So this is really, I'm saying it's really great. Then 205,000 pounds of food scraps have been composted, and I'm sure most of us have taken advantage of the dirt that we get on a weekly basis now in the summertime, so that all is related to each other. 800 plus pounds of batteries recycled. We recently I'm sure some of us have seen, Oakland County had a little bit of an incident where a dump truck caught on fire due to lithium-ion batteries. So please keep bringing them to City Hall, DPW, as well as obviously SACRA will take them. Then we had 29 planned natural landscape program signups. And this is if you want to, get away from the turf grass, if you want to have some natural landscaping, which takes a minute, so don't get, don't give up. But we currently have 147 registered participants. Then we had our 4th consecutive year of Michigan Green Community certification and our 24th consecutive year for Tree City USA designation. So 100 trees overall planted. And then we have a couple of special recycling events. We just had the big cycling event that I just forget, but that was a DPW, great success. The fall leaf bags that we're doing, the pumpkin plot, and just a holiday heave. I hope that's how you pronounce it. So some of our sustainability numbers. For 2026, our goals are to implement the action plan for residential energy efficiency. Obviously, it's not something that we can do on our own. We will need we'll need to work with City Council on that. We want to collaborate with our sustainability fellow to revise the climate action plan and focus on making it more directly actionable. It's also just good to review such a huge plan for the city, so you want to revise it and make sure it still is applying to Ferndale, or if there's something that we need to, some of the things that we might have not touched on just yet. And goal number 3 is just to keep engaging in educational events, tabling, any of the energy efficiency things that we might be doing this year, blog posts, newsletters, and so on. So just to get the word out that we do exist and we do care. And with that, I want to mention we still have 2 seats open on our Ferndale Environment and Sustainability Commission. So if you're interested, please go to the website and apply. The other thing is we are, this is a new thing we're doing. We're doing a trash pickup day, June, July, August, and September. And we're going to try to pick one place in each of the Ferndale quadrants and just get together on the 2nd Saturday of every month and meet your neighbors and pick up some trash and make our community a little bit nicer. So that's it.
I do have a question, Andrea. Who is the chair of the FESC?
That's me currently. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
But we do rotate, so it's not me all the time.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. We are now at the call to audience, where anyone in the audience could speak on something on or off the agenda. Please state your name and address if you so choose. And I reiterate that you have 3 minutes to state your name. You have 3 minutes to state what you'd like to state. I'm opening call to audience at 7:19 p.m. Hi.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Frank Castronova, and I live at 430 West Troy Street. I am a proud American, a proud Jew, and a proud Zionist. I am strongly opposed to a concert that will be given by Amrit Kohli later this month in Henry A. Schiffer Park, which is named for the only Jewish mayor in this city. The advertisements for this concert include the flags of Lebanon, Palestine, and Iran, that the United States and Israel are imperialist nations, and a quote from a member of Congress that uses a foul word to describe what she calls genocide enablers. It is my understanding that Mr. Kohli rented the park, but not as a special event. He has widely promoted this event on social media and took out a full-page advertisement in a local newspaper. And it will be held on a Saturday evening when Ferndale is sure to be crowded. I know the concert cannot be stopped because he has First Amendment rights, but I would suggest to you that the rental application be voided because this appears to be a special event. I do not welcome anti-American and anti-Israel messages. Opposition to anti-American sentiment should be obvious, but I feel I should explain opposition to an anti-Israel message. There is a statement in the Talmud, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Bazeh, all of Israel are responsible for one another. Israel is not only the name of a sovereign nation in our ancestral homeland, but it is the name of our people. Jews deeply care for one another, even people we have never and may never meet, and care for the state of Israel, even if we haven't visited. We feel pain and fear after acts of violence and harassment toward Jews worldwide. We read and hear that we brought this on ourselves, that we deserve it, and that it was staged by Israel to cause sympathy. This concert will be the latest local example of anti-Jewish expression. Following the invasion of Israel, kidnappings and murders by Hamas terrorists on October 7, 2023, I have seen activity and heard rhetoric that has made me feel uncomfortable and unsafe. Posters were placed around downtown Ferndale with photos and names of people kidnapped by terrorists and taken to Gaza. Those posters were torn down, and at least one of them was replaced with a "From the River to the Sea" sign. People spoke at many city council meetings calling for a ceasefire, wearing keffiyehs and carrying Palestinian flags, and several shouted at any mention that Israelis have been killed, held in captivity, or otherwise suffering. People promoting No Kings rallies demanded that Zionists not attend, and at least one business posted "From the River to the Sea" within its store. What's galling to me is that these activists will tell us they really don't hate Jews, just Zionists, even though a great majority of Jews are Zionists. They will tell us that "From the River to the Sea" is merely an aspirational statement and that in no way suggests violence toward Jews. To suggest to anyone why racist and hateful statements should not be offensive or make them feel unsafe, or to explain to us what Zionism and anti-Semitism mean and get it wrong, is a great example of the Yiddish word chutzpah. They wouldn't dare speak that way to similar groups of people. I urge the City Council and the City Management to do what it can to stop this concert.
Thank you, Frank. I have to stop you.
Good evening, June Axelrad, 477 West Troy, 40-year resident, raised my daughter here, and I used to love this city very much for its inclusivity. However, now I found that I'm not included. Also, as a Jew who believes that Israel has a right to exist, just like the approximately 50 Muslim majority countries in the world. I have been vilified and I have had incredibly vile things said to me by my fellow Ferndalians. I've heard the tired argument that criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitism, but guess what? When people obsess over Israel and hold it up as a poster child of evil, when they get their facts from TikTok, when they ignore atrocities all over the globe, even those committed by the extremists that they seem to love, even when the atrocities are against their own people, let alone Israelis, it is absolutely anti-Semitism, or we can just say Jew hatred. And we need to stop telling Jews what is and what is not anti-Semitism. We've been trying to ignore it or avoid it for years, deny it for years, but it's been thrown in our face after October 7th. And now once again, Ferndale is allowing a vocal anti-Israeli, anti-American person to perform in a city park. He does not hide his vitriol and bias. But not only is Ferndale not stopping this ugly display, they are facilitating it. How? By bending the rules for someone who deserves no special dispensation. This man fraudulently applied for a permit for a small event in downtown Schiffer Park, a park ironically named after Ferndale's only Jewish mayor, and we will be afraid to go to if he's allowed to do this. After gaining a permit for his event of under 30 people, thus skirting have to apply for a much more complicated special event permit, he trumpeted his intent to have a citywide free concert. Using vile language aimed at Israel, he advertised in a full-page ad in the Woodward Talk and also on social media. So yes, there is free speech in this country. I understand that. There's also free speech in Israel, unlike many of the countries that people are idolizing right now. But I have to think, if the KKK applied for a regular permit, like, oh, we're going to have a barbecue and there'll be less than 30 people, and then they advertise, hey, big KKK meeting, I think that somehow it would be stopped. So I am expressing my extreme opposition to allowing this man to break the rules, and I'm asking you as council, what are you going to do about this? Thank you.
Good evening to everybody in the room. My name is Gay Tushler, 430 West Troy Street. I have lived in Ferndale for almost 30 years. I always felt our city was welcoming for everyone. I even volunteered at affirmations for over 10 years and was loved as an ally. I am opposed to this divisive concert. I'm also a proud Jewish Zionist, and as I mentioned when I was here last month, I have close Palestinian cousins through intermarriage who moved from the Mideast to our country to do better for their families, and they did. And do we agree on everything? Absolutely not. But guess what? We are close and we love each other, and that's more important. I have seen our city become unfriendly to Jews. It is heartbreaking to me as an open-minded, peaceful person who has always reached out to others. No human being should feel marginalized or excluded in their own community. This is a very dangerous concept and opens us up to repeat dark historical times. Is this really what we want in Ferndale? I've seen a lot of hate in many ways in all the years of my life. Let's not allow it to win. We all are human beings who deserve to feel welcomed and comfortable where we live and work. Sometimes I just want to say shame on the entire human race. We can all do better. We can stand up for ourselves and each other too. Thank you.
My name's Goldie, and I moved to Ferndale in 2009. I came to Ferndale with great excitement for the nightlife and the inclusive neighborhood. I spent my years here being part of the community events and going to local shops. I love the gardens and the friendly neighborhood cats I see on my walks. I love Ferndale. Another thing about me is I'm a Zionist and I'm Jewish. Since October 7th, I have been made to feel unwelcome in the city I call home. I've been called a Nazi or a baby killer, both to my face and while interacting online. I am from a large Jewish community of thousands of Jews. I only know 3 out of the thousands that aren't Zionists. Out of the world's Jewish population, around 90% are Zionists. In a city that's known for encouraging people to feel free to identify as they wish, I find it hypocritical that we can't feel safe as Jews and openly Zionists in a city our tax dollars are using. As an American, it worries me that someone who uses an IRGC flag to promote his concert in a tax-funded, excuse me, I'm really nervous. In a tax-funded area, in Ferndale, we encourage activism and we encourage freedom of speech. Around 40,000 people have been killed in Iran by the IRGC under that flag because they don't have the freedom of speech. In this city, we have pride in activism. I've taken part in activism in Ferndale, and I can't do that anymore. I feel the activism here is against me. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. As a descendant of a Holocaust survivor, I will not be forced to move out of my city because of Jewish hatred. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. If you aren't Jewish, you have no right to tell us how to respond or react to it. You also don't define what Zionism is to us. Thank you again. I love our country, I love our president, and I love our freedom. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Mayor and City Council. My name is Jeremy Gilbert. I live at 187 West Camborne. I've been a resident of Ferndale since 2016, and I'm here today to ask the council to consider a ban on gas-powered leaf blowers. As I mentioned, I live right behind the Chipotle, Jimmy John's, Pizza Hut, UPS, Verizon, that whole complex right there. And for the last few years, they've been using a gas-powered leaf blower to clean their parking lot in the morning, usually 5 times a week. As I mentioned, this has been going on for years, but last week I was awoken at 7:15 a.m. and decided that I was going to see what I could do about it. I measured the decibel meters at 92 decibels from my front yard. I've contacted the property management and asked them about a solution of using either an electric leaf blower or sweeping the parking lot, but haven't received a response. They said that they would talk about it or whatnot, but I haven't heard anything back from them. I printed out the city charter, and part 8.08.020 defines nuisances and disturbance noises. The purpose of noise control is to minimize the exposure of citizens to the psychological and physiological damages of excess noise and to protect, promote, and preserve the public health, safety, and welfare, and to control the level of noise in a manner which promotes the use, value, and enjoyment of property, sleep, and repose, and the quality of the environment. The following sounds are determined to be nuisance and disturbance noises, provided that the following enumeration of acts and noises not be construed as excluding other acts and noises which offend the public peace. Underneath that, it lists levels at which the nuisance or noise becomes a nuisance. For noises from a business or commercial property encroaching on a residential property, the level is 57 decibels. From a business to another business, it's 60 decibels. There are variations that are listed below, 5 decibels for a total of 15 minutes in any 1 hour period, 10 decibels for a total of 10 minutes in any 1 hour period, or 15 decibels for a total of 1.5 minutes in any 1 hour period. All of these fall below what was measured last week in my front yard, and none of them apply because in order to clear the whole parking lot, they run it constantly for a half an hour at a time. Gas-powered leaf blowers operate at 70 to 115 decibels. At an operator's ear, that's 95 to 115 decibels. At 50 feet away, it's 70 to 90 decibels. Factors in this are the age, the condition, and the power level of the gas-powered leaf blower. Most seem to be used in our community by businesses or commercial landscapers. Residents tend to, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Apologies to the previous speaker, but I think I know how to segue into what I would like to speak. But anyway, good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Roach. I'm from West Marshall. Lived in Ferndale since December 2013. And just want to give a heads up that the Ferndale Accessibility Inclusion Advisory Commission, got it right that time, we have, was it 4 available seats or 5? Okay, well, open seats. But yeah, we need members for that commission. I'll try to put as much information, though hopefully Councilman Sabatini can provide more information. But basically, our commission, we oversee stuff that involves accessibility and inclusivity. We actually were in charge of the sensory tent during Ferndale Pride, and a project that we would be happy to help look into is that leaf blower bit, because as someone who lives in an apartment that is on ground level and has to hear yard work, yes, I understand that, and everyone should understand that, be extremely annoyed, and I could go on and on. But, let's see, there was that. It's about what I got. So, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, our other officials. Evelyn Elster, Wild West Drayton. Sorry. Oh. Are we, no,
Tess.
I'll just lean in, thanks.
And we, the
I'll
time
just-
is,
I'll just lean in.
wanted to
Thank
have
you.
her time, so can we back that up a little bit?
Evelyn Elster, Wild West Drayton. Having suffered 18 years through the reigns of Coulter, Piana, Lyons, Twardy, Paulicka, and Joji, I speak from history in hopes that it not continue to be repeated. The yes cult in our municipality is still active, believing those individuals still control Ferndale. They do not. I would like to propose a Property Taxpayer Appreciation Month to acknowledge the residents that pay for everything. We would not require a festival, but could quietly celebrate in the privacy of our own homes. Give us a month of not having to listen to the overused, rebranded rhetoric we have grown accustomed to. No end-of-life or industry standard jargon to justify the endless vehicle and equipment additions, while so many of us drive hoopties without mufflers. No mentions of absurd policies in regards to continuous replacement of office equipment and software upgrades in the consent agenda, which gut the coffers bi-monthly. No flowery presentations to stroke the egos of council towards granting approval of wish lists on our dime. No mention of discourse with dignity when we are afforded so little dignity ourselves, as well as "you belong here," which is insulting to those of us who obviously do not believe we are included. No talk of deferred maintenance. Call it what it is. Willful neglect in favor of vanity projects. Barring a natural disaster, name me a municipality that lost their community center. Poof, gone. Whose director was rewarded with a swank office elsewhere at $2,700 per month, while paving our green spaces with concrete and asphalt, which also must be maintained at a cost like every other addition you approve. No lip service regarding amenities. Transparency does not mean rubbing our noses in it. It's not a laughing matter. Give us a month that you would be more mindful of our essential public safety departments. In that spirit, these are red pens. They can make red lines through agendas, budgets, capital improvement plans, master plans, policies, and ordinance modifications. I brought enough for each of you and the elusive agenda committee, I hope. Be so kind as to use them to cut the "I want gimme gimme" out and exercise your no. May this current Ferndale government be sensible and empathetic towards the residents who may pay to maintain it, if I might.
Dennis Augustin, 1550 Spencer. I came here tonight and something I saw on the coming here just made me happy as heck. Because I remember when the mayor first became on board with the Ferndale Parks and Recreation Commission, as well as Lorena Wheeler, because I was already a member. The only thing that this city was concerned about, and the Parks and Recreation, was Martin Road. Okay, I came as a member of the Parks and Recreation Commission. I had 2 teams, 4 to 6-year-olds, 7 to 9-year-olds, okay, that I could have easily put on that ball diamond over there on Wanda. But guess what? The city was like, well, we don't know what's going on. We don't know how to do permits and stuff like that. Permits is something that the city parks have always had to have. When I was playing ball, when I was just a kid back in the middle 60s, okay, our coaches had to have those permits to be on the field. So that way, if someone asked to say, or come to say that, hey, look, we're playing on this field, they had something to fall back on, okay? We had nothing. And I was a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee, and like I said, Mayor, you were just beginning. You were just a new person. So was Lorena Wheeler. Now I see these kids out there playing. For the first time, I see 2 teams of 4 to 6-year-olds out there playing on Wanda Park over there. And that made me happy. Because for the first time, we got something out there that doesn't mean it's Martin Road. Okay? And I see a lot of activity at Martin Road even now. And that's this part. Now, as far as the Jewish people, well, my wife is Jewish. But I can tell you right now, I'm a retired contractor. And when I stepped on a Friday or a Saturday, because my work schedule was so busy that I couldn't really take a day off, I was asked by the Jewish people to leave. Okay? That's not right. Especially when the Jewish people, you know, they don't come to me, to my house. Why? Because I don't put the hat on top. Okay? They don't, you know, and for that reason, you know, they don't seem to support the non-Jewish people. Okay? You could say what you want. It's not appropriate. You're right.
Dennis, please
You're
address
right.
the
It's not
council.
appropriate, but why
Dennis,
should I have to
Dennis.
leave my job because they say?
Dennis, please address the council.
Well, he's over
Please
here
address
talking to
us
me
and-
behind my back.
And I need you to, in line to refrain.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
tell you what. Here, my voice is deep enough.
Dennis,
I
now-
have been asked to leave because of the Jewish people, which
I'm
I
gonna
have
stop
no
you now,
problem
Dennis.
with.
Dennis, I'm
I
gonna
have no
stop.
problem with.
Dennis, I have to stop you.
Yeah,
I have to
no,
stop you
you
now.
could stop me if you want, but Mayor, you got to do something, okay? You have
Dennis,
got to do
There are
something.
people in line. I have to stop you, but I
Well,
heard you.
there was people in line before I
heard
got
you.
here.
I heard you.
There was people in line,
I need you to
So I
step
get
down.
up here.
Dennis, I need you to step down so the other
okay?
people can speak.
We need you to step down then too.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Lori O'Brien. I'll be brief. I'm from the Ferndale Cat Shelter, 686 Livernois. We have been operating for 12 years. We currently have 150 cats in our care. Majority of them are kittens. With that being said, we are constantly looking for donations to help us support this volunteer-run group. We are hosting a charity kickball game July 18th at Geary Park. Everyone is invited. It's called Cats versus Dogs. We will have food trucks. We will have very fun vendors, raffles, events. It is free to the public, family-oriented. It should be a really good time, and we just wanted to extend the invitation to everyone here. Hope to see you, and I hope you can help get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. Simon Cohen here. I have a couple things that I wanted to chat about, one of which is a potential appointment to the Ferndale Accessibility and Inclusion Advisory Commission, which I think should be on your consent agenda. I would like to say that I'm really excited to serve the community, and I have a lot of ideas, but I think most importantly, I'm willing to sit down and learn and, you know, shut up and serve for once. You guys have heard me up here enough. That kind of segues into my second comment. I can't think of anything that would make the city less accessible than a 24-hour automatic drive-through car wash. I understand the actual context of the agenda item that you guys have, but I cannot express that this is like this is like the least popular thing I've seen in Ferndale, including like the surveillance stuff, the ceasefire stuff. Like this is like got so many people across the entire, every 18 political spectrums that exist up in arms. Like we had like little kids coming to planning commissions, which I think is kind of a crime against children to have to understand the existence of a planning commission. And then just lastly, I would like to say that as a Jew in Ferndale, practicing, I do feel included. I feel very included. I really respect all the work that you guys have done in council in the city in support of the ceasefire. And I cannot express that anything makes me feel less safe than tying my identity to a genocidal state overseas. Thank you.
Paul Collum, resident of Ferndale. My wife Angela and I would like to voice our support for Simon Cohen for the commission. We have undoubtedly become friends with them, and we believe he will work for the betterment of every resident in this community. The other thing, I have two things, really easy. If it's possible to consider increasing or shortening, I guess how you look at it, the time that the agenda is set. I know on a large agenda, it's kind of a lot to read over the weekend. I know for us, it's going through it, and if we have questions, for yourself, I'm sure it's a lot to do over a weekend. So maybe if we could have it, the agenda set by say even like Wednesday or Thursday before the next meeting would be fantastic. And then the last thing is just curious as to what is the status of the RX for Kids program that we talked about over the summer, and just trying to see what's going on with that. Thank you.
Good evening. Excuse me. Dennis Whitey, 1510 Camden, lifelong resident. I'm taking a different approach. On your regular agenda tonight, you have an amendment to the city charter. And I was reading that over the weekend, over the packet, and my Master of Public Administration geekiness just started kicking out. Because back in the 1920s, with progressive reforms, we tried to move away from families, giving family members job, all the patronage and all that stuff. And so a lot of those reforms created different, clauses in charters to make sure that doesn't happen. And in Ferndale, our charter, we created such a provision. It was amended in '85 slightly, I think, to conform with Michigan election law at the time. But I think it does need to be amended, but not in the way you're proposing. Basically, what the charter requires is if a city council person is not, or city council member is not completing their term that year, they have to resign their seat 10 days, I believe it is, before the deadline to run for mayor. So if somebody on the city council wants to run for mayor, they have to do that, and then it creates what we have saw for the past, 9 years, the musical chairs. Then we had to appoint somebody for a couple months, things back and forth. I agree, the concept is right. The process is messy. That's the problem with it. One of the reasons I strongly support this is let's keep in mind, I'll rewind to 2019. And had we not had this charter provision, the people would have not got their choice that year, in all reality. And that's because I was appointed when Melanie Piano ran for mayor. And I served for 5 months. And I ran for that seat with Councilwoman Kelly, as well as Mikulski, as well as one other person, and the people got their choice, which was Laura Mikulski, which is how it should be. What this enables to happen is somebody runs for mayor, doesn't have to give up their seat, they become mayor, and now they get to appoint for a full 2 years that open council seat. That's undemocratic and little d, not political, not partisan. But when you look at how that works, I think a better provision to propose is that that person's council seat becomes vacant at the end of the year, December 31st of that year, so that that seat opens up, and it's a 2-year term, but people run for that position. It's not an appointment, and those people are elected by the people of Ferndale. And so that's why I rise here, because I've always thought it was a dumb idea to have this. I get the concept, but the process was dumb. And I think we can make this better. And I would ask that you table the regular agenda item tonight to go back and maybe consider that type of language. I'd be more than willing to work on it with anybody, but it would give the people their choice more so than just, appointments. So I appreciate you listening. I came from the office. I have to go back. I'm in trial. But I want to make sure to get this across, and congrats to our newest council member. Thank you.
Thank you. We're still open for a called audience if anyone has something that they'd like to say that they just thought about, that didn't speak before. Okay. All right. We're closing call to audience at 7:49 p.m. And now we're moving on to the consent agenda, as we have no public hearing tonight. Item 7A, approval of the May 26, 2026 City Council Candidate Q&A meeting and regular May 26, 2026 meeting minutes. 7B, ordinance to ban unlawful release of balloons. Approval, 7C, approval of a resolution to recognize June 19th, 2026 as the Juneteenth Freedom Day and to display the Juneteenth flag outside of Ferndale City Hall.
Can you walk out there and...
I don't want to trouble you, but I just wanted to make sure that since it's going to the outside, I just want to make sure that those individuals stop the, okay, thank you. No one escalates. Thank you. All right, where was I? 7C, approval of the resolution to recognize June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth Freedom Day and to display the Juneteenth flag outside of Ferndale City Hall. 7D, approval of the updated 2026-2027 City Council member appointments to city boards and commissions. 7E, approval of the listed appointments and reappointments to city boards and commissions. 7F, approval of the appointment of representative and alternate to the SACRA Board of Trustees. 7G, approval to submit fire safety and prevent grant application. 7H, approval to submit assistance to firefighters grant application. 7I, approval of the participation agreement with Clemmis Authority. 7J, approval as needed pavement restoration and striping services by Pavement Specialties, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $20,000. 7K, approval of playground mulch installation by Superior Ground Cover, Inc. for $15,990. 7L, action to defer back to Planning Commission in the matter regarding 22230 Woodward Avenue. 7M, approval of bills and payrolls as submitted by the Finance Director and subject to review by the Council Finance Committee. I need a motion to accept the agenda, consent agenda.
Mayor, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now we are moving on to the regular agenda. Excuse me, let me go to that. Just one moment. The regular agenda is to adopt the resolution to add the charter ballot amendment on council resignation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election. First, in order to have, before we have discussion, I need a motion and a second.
Motion is presented.
Support.
All right. City Manager, are you?
I can provide a little background. This
Okay.
was a discussion item that arose at a previous, I believe, called council period, in which direction was provided that legal counsel should draft some language to that effect for council to consider. This is that draft language. I do anticipate there's subsequent discussion that will be had. I will note, if the intent is for council to have residents consider this on the November election, the timeline for that is approaching very quickly because of the length of time that it takes for the Attorney General's office to return feedback on any charter amendments.
Through the chair, just to add to that, a charter amendment, not only the Attorney General, but also the governor, who relies on the Attorney General in large part to provide her approval of the proposed charter amendment. So there is a timing requirement. The governor's office and AG have indicated that they need at a minimum 90 days prior to an election to consider any type of charter amendment and provide feedback should it be required.
All right. Well, I'm going to open this up to council discussion now. And regarding the reasoning.
So through the chair, Dennis brought up a really good point. +1, Dennis. I'm looking at the charter amendment language. I'm not seeing anything that completely clarifies it for me as to what happens. Would we indeed be appointing somebody to fill a
Yeah,
vacancy?
there's already a section in Chapter 3, subsection 9, already provides for vacancies in elective offices. And just like council addressed the vacancy a couple of months ago, that would be in place should there be a vacancy in the future if the proposed charter amendment is passed and that prohibition from running for mayor were to be deleted from that text. So the language regarding a vacancy in office is already there in Chapter 3, Section 9. I can read it, I have it up if you want me to read it, but essentially it provides that a vacancy in any elective office shall, within 30 days after such vacancy occurs, be filled by appointment by a majority of the members of the council or of the remaining members of the council when the vacancy is in the council. Such appointee shall hold office until the next regular municipal election taking place more than 60 days after such vacancy occurs, at which election a successor shall be elected for the unexpired term of the member in whose office the vacancy occurs. Provided, however, that the term of no member shall be lengthened by his resignation and subsequent appointment. When a vacancy occurs in any office to which a person has been appointed for a definite term, such vacancy shall within 30 days be filled for the unexpired term by appointment made in the manner provided for full term appointments to such office.
All right. Well, this charter just didn't appear on the agenda, so I imagine there's reasoning behind the need to do this. So I'd like to hear that logic.
Through Chair, I think I can speak to it.
Okay.
I think really we were just trying to avoid the situation that we've seen happen repeatedly with having to fill vacancies. So I don't love the idea that we would open up another vacancy that would also have to be filled through an appointment process. That doesn't seem like that's exactly what we wanted, because that just pushes the problem along. You end up with a different vacancy. What's interesting to me with this is that I know Madison Heights did a charter amendment not too long ago. I don't know how theirs works necessarily. but it was to also address this kind of situation. And I thought that theirs worked well. I'm just not sure what the difference is between theirs and ours.
And do we know of other communities that are doing this right now or have adopted this amendment? I mean, this charter amendment?
Madison Heights is the one I'm most familiar with.
Madison Heights.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this, and I've reached out to a couple of people, and I know that this has been the charter for at least, well, now that former council member Dennis Whitey pointed out, I knew it was at least 30 years, but it's more than that, apparently. And I think that there is something to the community voting for whomever it is that they wish to see sitting in these seats. What came to mind when I thought about this is that this amendment, if it is so approved tonight, is almost you run for a seat, but if it is not successful, then you regain the seat that you're currently holding. However, as we saw just from our open vacancy, there are many people that maybe want to be involved in the city council and be involved in that process and maybe sit in these seats. And that would, I think, take away automatically a seat for someone who'd want to run for it. So I don't know what this looks like. I know that this has been, as long as I've been on council, this has been the charter. So that's why I'm asking the logic behind it, or the reasoning, and the why now, and why this is important when there's so many other things that we can be dealing with. So I just need clarity. I need someone to convince me, because I haven't been convinced that it's a priority. I don't know what the city of Detroit does, Royal Oak does, and I did reach out to MML because they have an individual liaison, Dave Hoskin, I believe it is, who is the municipal policies liaison for MML. Haven't heard back, and I just want to know how many communities are doing this, if this is the norm. But if it's not, if it's just something to do, I think a city charter is something very important, and it's not to be played with just to say we did this. So I don't know what's behind it. So that's why I'm opening it up to you all, so someone can provide me with some clarity. Because I don't have it.
I think, Mayor, through the chair, I think Mayor Pro Tem Mikulski, as she mentioned, the thinking, the reasoning behind it was to avoid and smooth out the campaign process and avoid issues like of appointments and democratizing the process.
Okay, I think what I'm trying to understand is, why is it an issue? We've done it for over 40 years. I don't know. It's something that we've done. I guess I'm used to it because I've been through the process numerous times. I think you were with me on one.
Yep.
And we've dealt with it. So I'm just understanding the logic and the reasoning, the timing right now. Why is it important? That's all.
I think personally, rather than speaking to the logic of it, I would like to see if we could maybe iron out some of the details. Again, the issue of having to appoint somebody to fill a seat feels like something that we may need to spend a little bit more time on, since that, again, theoretically, was what we were trying to avoid. So personally, I would be comfortable tabling it and doing a little bit of additional work on it to see if we could fix that small point.
And I think that if MML can help, I'd like to know how many communities are doing it. I'd like to know that it's not just the couple that we've named. If this is the norm, if this is the norm, then this is something I would consider. But again, I just put that request out, and I've got to give them time to do that. So I'm open to tabling it as well, but it's up to council as a whole if you want to do that. If there's no other discussion, then we're going to a vote.
Sabatini?
Through the chair, we're voting on tabling it?
I didn't
Pending
hear.
further
The
discussion?
current motion
Motion on
is
the
to
floor.
approve.
The current motion is to approve it as is. If we want to table it, I need that direction.
Okay, move to table pending further conversation.
So you're moving to table the adoption of the resolution to add charter ballot amendment on council resignation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election.
Yes.
What is the time frame that would have to be done, just to make it to where the other position, the council, if a council member runs for mayor, that their position would be up for election at the end of that year? But they would not have to resign. And
I
if
think,
we
I
wanted to
don't have an
change it.
exact date, I can provide that date tomorrow. I believe August 12th is the deadline for having items on the,
Clerk may know.
If I may,
so it's 90 days before that roughly.
so the deadline for ballot, excuse me, the deadline for ballot wording of local proposals qualified to appear on the November ballot to be certified to the local or county clerk is 4 p.m. on August 11th. Direction from the governor's office is that we need to provide 60 days prior to that.
It's more than 60, but it depends on the
90 would be a full charter revision, and then the charter amendment would just be for the 60 days, I believe, if I recall correctly. But that would put us prior to the next city council meeting.
We didn't get a second to table.
So just for clarity, if we table it tonight, there's no way to move this forward to the November election. Is that correct?
It wouldn't meet the state's guidelines. We could try, but we may be rejected based on procedural timing.
Through the chair, so I misunderstood. So I thought that we had till August 11th. Therefore, we could, if we could review this by next council meeting.
So August 11th is the state legal deadline. We have to provide the charter amendments to both the governor and attorney general's offices, and they are the ones who require the 60 days in advance for us to submit that documentation to them.
That's not a law, but it's their rule.
Okay.
So, I mean, they say if you want us to review it, we need more time prior to the deadline, which is the August 11th deadline.
Okay, so through I think this is something that we want to examine moving forward with. If we move forward with this charter amendment in the November election, in the meantime, can we look at Madam Mayor's concerns and look at adding and adopting and amending it afterward, after November? I mean, that's something that's open to us, right?
You have elections in 2027 as well. Every municipal election, you would have that possibility that the matter could come to the voters.
Okay, thank you for that clarity.
But obviously, it's your discretion of when you want it to do.
So through the chair, what's our drop dead date? Is it tonight, or could we have a special meeting if we had some additional time this week to work out some of the details?
If we're going off the 60 days before August 11th, it would be Thursday of this week, the 11th. If the goal is still to be on the November election, alternatively, we could look at what the dates would be for elections in '27.
there are actually two motions then, I guess. So we need to, both of them have been supported but not seconded, I think. Yeah.
Could we make a motion to move forward with it and change the language on the, how the, no,
By Thursday?
yeah, not enough time.
Well,
for
you
that.
could do it by Thursday, but the resolution actually goes to, it has the proposed text, the proposed statement of purpose. It is a technical resolution that is reviewed by the AG for compliance. There's a number of words threshold for the statement of purpose that can't be exceeded. It's pretty straightforward, that the proposed text, I wouldn't anticipate any struggle by the AG in getting through the question, but they do want the minimum 60 days for any type of charter amendment. And, you know, if you were gonna, as a council, consider some type of alternate text by Thursday, you would still need to post that special meeting 18 hours prior to that. So
To the chair, Dan, are you familiar with what they've done in Madison Heights and how they changed?
I'm not familiar with the text of Madison Heights' change. I know their council, I could contact them tomorrow about it, but I'm not familiar with what they did or had.
What's Hazel Park doing? I don't know. What do they do?
Did you say that they changed theirs too? I don't remember.
I can't remember what their charter language is like for that.
It's a council discussion, not open to, okay. All right, folks, what are we doing?
Sorry, I'm just reading the Madison Heights proposal language, trying to see if I can find a snippet that would make sense.
The current, online, their text appears to be that the highest vote getter, that there's not a specific designated mayor position. It's the highest vote getter is the mayor. So I don't know if that's new.
In Madison Heights?
Yeah.
Madison Heights
Oh, it's
on
a-
their website right now.
They did a charter amendment recently, and they do run for mayor over there, I know that much.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were modeling.
I'm
for.
just reading it. Maybe this isn't up to date.
Updated, yeah.
And I think through the chair, if you go with the next highest vote getter, and there's not anybody else in the election, you still run into the issue of having to make an appointment. Madam Mayor, just for point of clarity, was you weren't seeing, not to put words in your mouth, but your issue was with it is as written? What were your thoughts with it, with the amendment, the changes of, that we were discussing that Mr. Whitey presented?
So I think that based on my experience and what I've seen in the past, that when someone was appointed, they were appointed to serve, and then they were able to run for that seat. The person, my logic is that if this should happen for this November election, and should it pass, anyone next year would be able to vacate their seat, and then we'd have to reappoint. And to me, that is kind of unnecessary, because if someone is to run, if someone's supposed to run, forgive me, I'm trying to just, this is why this is so confusing, because I'm trying to put this in some sort of clarity. if someone had to vacate vacate their seat in order to run, and if their bid for whatever they were running for was unsuccessful, they would be automatically put into that seat. And I guess my point is that or is that not taking away a seat of someone who could have that, that was willing to do the campaigning and is willing to run? I guess it's confusing to me because, in this community, people vote for who they want to vote for, and the person that gets out there and just gets their point across succeeds. And I think this is kind of almost have your cake and eat it too approach. I think that we're adults, and if we're going to run for a seat, we're all adults. If we're going to run for a seat, run for the seat. If we're not, we're not. And if other people want to run for the seats, they're able to. But I don't think it should be like a save the seat sort of situation. I don't know. That's bothering me a little bit.
Well, through the chair, I think that it's not so much saving the seat, it's business continuity. So that you don't have somebody leaving their seat in order to run. You have business as usual so that things continue on without having to go through an appointment process and cause undue issues with that, like we saw in 2019. Again, the question just becomes, what happens after?
Now, you mentioned continuity, but I think that is what the person who is contemplating this should be already considering when they're making that decision. This is just my take on it. Again, this is a council vote. Be here till 9 o'clock contemplating this, please. Dan, have we ever had any sort of ballot proposal that we were successfully able to get on the ballot, even outside of the time?
Well, that's a new requirement.
New requirement.
It's a new rule over the last several years that's been imposed by the current governor and attorney general to try and make sure they can handle the number of requests that they receive.
Understood.
So there's been a number of charter amendments, but they want as much time as possible to review them.
Sure. I keep forgetting it's just not us. There are probably many other communities that are doing charter revisions or amendments and things as such, so.
So we could potentially pass this and then have another amendment addressing what would happen to that seat, how we would fill the seat. It wouldn't be in this either way because there's too much, is that what I'm understanding? So we would have to have another amendment either way?
Well, if I understand that, if you're saying, could you pass this proposed charter amendment, move that forward so it's in the process of being reviewed and vetted by the Attorney General and Governor, and then continue to look at whether there's an additional language or amendment that's necessary for your charter, yes, you can do that. But whether the timing is such that you could have that second, as of yet, undrafted charter amendment considered at the November election, I just don't know.
Not it would be in the next election.
It'd have to be at a later time.
But it wouldn't change this either way. You would have to have two.
As proposed, right now, you only have the one. So if there's anything, if there's additional clarity or an additional process that you wish to have made part of your charter, it would require a new charter amendment.
Yeah.
Through the chair, we could try to get it in the second one and see if they approve it, potentially we even get it in before Thursday. Well, no, because the public special meeting, never mind. But we could still try nevertheless and see if we have success with the second one. I had a question about item number 2, section 2. The charter member would, so as it is currently, the current procedure is the sitting council member whose seat does not expire has to resign 10 days prior to the filing date? Yes. And so does that then mean that happens, other folks have 10 days to decide if they want to run and fill that seat and get the signatures and apply?
The way it works
in
right
theory?
now is that a commissioner or a council member would have to resign their position on council. And that, in order to decide and file to run for the position of mayor, that creates a vacancy in the council position, which is filled currently by the other provision I referenced earlier, Chapter 3, Section 9, which is the remainder, not with that council member, but the remaining members of council would appoint for the unexpired term for a period, the timing until the next election. It probably, because there's 30 days, it may or may not be the next election, because there might be a timing issue there, because the filling of the vacancy, the remaining members of council have 30 days to make that filling, whereas the resignation section says 10 days before.
10 days before the filing deadline, so
Before the filing deadline.
potentially if they
It may
waited
not
till
get
that last minute, then potentially someone could not get signatures.
That's
for
right,
that
so it
10
would be,
days.
the vacancy would be filled by the balance of council.
So, and that's what we're trying to eliminate here.
So, that's another section that's, that maybe wasn't clearly focused. The drafting of this amendment I was told to draft it specifically as it relates to this question. If Section 3, Chapter 3, subsection 9 needs refinement, that's something that could be looked at, but that wasn't looked at all. It was a solitary amendment that was being, that was drafted and provided for you this evening.
And through the chair, just so I'm completely crystal clear on this, if we wanted to change that section 3, it would have to be separate ballot language. It could not be combined into one ballot initiative.
No. I mean, it would be, it's a different question. It's on a different section. It would be a different charter amendment question.
I'm willing to propose this, put this to a vote, and I just need to know what motion we are supporting.
Can I ask a question? So what is the importance of having it for this election? If we table it and we do have to wait till the next election, like, is there an urgent reason why we want to do it right now?
Well, the next election would be the next municipal election, correct?
No, the municipal elections are the ones where council seats are up. That's technically the council seats, the odd years. This is the general election, though, which is our highest turnout.
And the election after the general would be?
March.
There is one in March.
Yeah, primary in March, right?
2027, We'll just have a November election unless for some reason we have a special election held in May.
Okay, so no, okay.
Dan, I am stuck. Come on. I mean, are we, all right. What's on the agenda tonight is to adopt the resolution to add the charter ballot amendment on the council resignation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election. What has also been proposed is to table it until we have further information, which means that chances are it would not be available for the November 3rd, 2026 election, but it could be available for the November 2027 election or a special election in March. Is that what I'm to understand?
Could be,
Special election in May, yep.
there could be a school election.
School election in May. Okay.
One of the eligible municipal election dates.
But either way, we would have to have another amendment, so.
To address the concern that I've
Yes,
heard
the other
tonight, yes.
issue, yes. So it would be, we'd vote on this and an additional one. So you could potentially vote on this and then vote on the other one and put it on the next election.
Does that cause any issues with them separated like that?
Well, it's two different.
The only issue would be that the First Amendment, if passed, would operate without the benefit of the Second Amendment, if passed, being in place and under the existing rules. So theoretically, you could have one election cycle where the rules remained the same before changing. Presuming both pass.
Through the chair, oh, sorry, Madam Mayor.
Oh, go ahead,
No,
go ahead.
please.
I'm just thinking out loud, really. Go ahead, you go ahead.
I was just just asking what the procedure was now here, if like, this is either someone supports my motion or I can withdraw my motion. Okay. And do I move to withdraw my motion to table the amendment pending further discussion.
Yeah, I believe Mikulski did second that, so, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So then the motion to adopt the resolution to add the charter ballot amendment. Do we need to add that, what would this sound like? What would this sound like if we wanted to have something in place to discuss this further, even if this is adopted tonight? That's what I need to know, what it would look like.
Or you can do that. So if what I'm hearing you say, could you pass this, start the review process at the AG and the governor's office once Dean sends it tomorrow? You could do that, and you could continue to workshop the potential other charter amendment to make sure we drill down as to exactly what the goal might be to achieve. And then you could, could you say, pass another resolution to tell the Attorney General and Governor to stop the review? You could, because it hasn't, the filing deadline hasn't occurred yet. It's August 11th. If you come up with the new language, you can forward that to the Attorney General and Governor, but you might not make it for November. I mean, it's probably not going to be approved in time. and it would have to go to subsequent election. But, you know, you'd have to decide if that's critical or necessary or not. There's existing language that already deals with the vacancy question, it would remain in place.
So I guess with that clarity, thank you for that, we're still at the point where, why we were considering tabling it in the first place, to get more information, to find out what other communities are doing this, and I feel like there's a reason that we decided that we were going to table it in the first place, and why that was a motion that was put forth, even though it's been rescinded now. So,
Through the chair, I want, you know, I think, Mr. Whitey and Madam Mayor, you brought up some excellent points that I do want us to see to get to the bottom. I would like to hear what the MML advises or comes back with. But I do think this gets us in the right direction, moving towards that, and then we can, you know, and we should take a look at what you are proposing.
Through the chair, I would support that, and maybe as part of this motion, we can have like an addendum to it that says that we would have that additional charter language at the next meeting, if we think that that's possible. So the modification of section 3 in the current charter. You know, that's a lofty goal.
did you get that written, Dean?
Bits of it, yes.
Okay, I have one more question. So can we update our appointment process, and so that if someone runs, they're elected mayor, someone on council, they're elected mayor, and then we can make a special exception that the person appointed would be who had the most votes in that election?
Charter amendment.
Okay.
To have a rule on that, because it's provided for in the charter.
Is that section 3?
Well, check, that's
okay.
that's the section that deals with filling a vacancy.
Through the chair, then we would still have to figure out a provision if there was nobody else running in that election, because then there would be no second highest vote getter. So we would still be looking at the appointment process, I think, not getting it to the person with the most votes. If that makes sense. I might be misunderstanding your question.
What it sounds like to me is we will be appointing someone either way. So if we do it this way or don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
And someone wants to run for mayor. So we could do this and then address the appointment process in a different ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does sound like council has consensus that it wants to see improvements to the council appointment process and what that looks like in the future.
And Madam Mayor, that is addressing your thoughts and as well, right? That taking a look at that appointment process piece. I just want to make sure that that's heard and
It does
being addressed.
address it.
Okay.
It's just the timing concerns me, that's all.
Okay, thank you for.
The timing concerns me. Whether it's addressed or not, we may have something on the ballot and we still have questions about it, and it's with no, I don't know. I don't like moving through things so quickly like this. Because I know a million things are going to come to me tomorrow that I didn't think about tonight. So I guess so I'm going to put the motion again, the motion that we have right now here, and then Dean, you're going to have to help me regarding the amendment part to add to it, or Dan, you help me with the amendment part added to it.
Mayor, you could do it as two different motions. I mean, you could combine it if you wish, or you could tackle it as two different motions. That's the prerogative of council, how they think most clean. I mean, you can add a tag along to that one motion, which would be along the lines of approving the proposed charter amendment resolution, and also, then address the further studying of a proposed charter amendment to review and determine potential adjustments to the filling of vacancy provision. You could do that as one, or you could split it.
Still confused as to how it's going to sound, but
We could just give you direction to have that available at the next meeting. Is that something you could have done at the next meeting?
Yeah, I
To make
think so.
another
I mean,
amendment?
I think it's.
And then we could see if we can get them both at the same time, and if not, it'll be on the next election.
Yes, if the intent is to move forward with this current amendment as presented, the clean way forward would be approve the, amendment as it's currently drafted. That's also cleaner to send to the AG and the governor's office, and then just through council discussion, direct myself, which I will direct the city attorney, to draft that by a date specific.
is that council's discretion that they want to go with?
Yep, through the chair. Should I make a motion?
The motion's already been made.
Yes.
So we just need to vote on the motion. You have the direction, well, depending on how the motion goes, then we can make the direction on how we want to move forward.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to try to say this again. Okay. Motion on the table to adopt the resolution to add the charter ballot amendment on council resignation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election with the instruction to city legal.
We don't need, we don't need to amend the motion.
We don't
no.
need to do that?
You
So
guys, you
leave
can.
this as is,
yes, yeah.
alone. Okay, all right, well, then the motion's on. Let's have a vote. Roll call, please.
Sabatini?
Yes.
Mikulski?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
LaSalle?
Yes.
Leaks May?
No. I just wanted to have that on record. All right. Now, with that being said, with explanation, I think it's just not clear, but let's get there. All right. Now, we're going to call to council where we have, the motion to adopt the resolution to add the charter ballot amendment on council resignation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election has passed 4-1. All right. And now, call to council. I defer to the city manager for department head updates.
Parks and Rec?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So a few updates from Parks and Recreation. So this past Saturday, we had our skate jam to open up the summer season. It was the first event that we had since school let out last Friday. We had a great turnout. We had a lot of happy participants. We held several different contests, had a bunch of food trucks, had some youth vendors, some music, and a visit from some random Ninja Turtles that showed up in blow-ups. We don't know who they were. We don't know how they got there. We didn't see them leave. They just arrived, interacted with people, and disappeared. So if anybody has any information about that, we would like to figure out who those people were and how we could bring them back, because they were a wonderful addition to everything that was going on. We want to thank our sponsors, Vibe Credit Union, who is the presenting sponsor for the event, and gave us a lot of support throughout the entire thing. IEP Urgent Care, which was one of the gold sponsors, and Modern Skate and Surf, who really helps to make the entire event go. They operate all of the contests for us. They issue all of the awards when we buy the awards, but they issue them, and we want to thank those. We want to thank everybody that helped make that event a huge success this past weekend. And looking forward, this Thursday, we have our pajama movie party that'll be taking place at the Detroit Curling Club at 6 p.m., where we will have games and activities. We'll have Oakland County bringing out some inflatables for public use. And then we'll have a movie that'll begin at 7 o'clock. The movie this time around will be The Mitchells versus the Machines. That is a PG movie for anybody that is interested. The event is completely free. There will be some snacks and some drinks that will be available for purchase, but other than that, participation in the activities and the viewing of the movie is completely free for all members of the public. That will also coincide with our Meet the Staff night at 5:30 at the same site, where we will welcome our summer camp parents and families. We will give them the opportunity to ask any questions, to meet the staff members that will be supporting their kids' summer camp participation for the duration of the summer, and making sure that they have the opportunity to fill out all of their necessary paperwork and all that stuff, because I don't think that I got everything from everybody yet. Speaking of summer camp, that program will begin on Monday with the opening session of Get Active. We still have some available spots for the older two groups, so that being the Timberline group and the Canopy group. Those groups are the 8 through 9-year-olds and the 10 through 12-year-olds. The Joy Root group, which is the 5 through 7-year-olds, is looking pretty full for a lot of the summer. So the registration for week 1 of summer camp will close this Thursday at the end of the day. And we may accept late registrations after that, but there will be an additional fee for anybody that's looking to register at that time. Finally, we have our MDEC campaign going strong, which is our crowdfunding effort in order to support necessary upgrades for the Harding Park inline skate rink. We are still soliciting those contributions. We want to stress that no contribution is too small to have an impact on this. We're looking to raise about $62,500. Once we reach that threshold, we will be provided with an additional $62,500, meaning that all of the contributions will be doubled in their impact. So anybody that is interested in contributing to that, you will see signs around town with QR code. You can also visit the website to get the specific link where you can contribute to that effort. And that is it from Parks and Rec.
May I ask, through Parks and Rec, are you looking for camp counselors this year? Is there something put out regarding that? Because I know that these students are going to be looking for jobs. And
Yeah. We, unless something goes wrong with the current staff that we have hired already, I think we might be good. Or unless we get a flood, like if we get a flood of new registrations for those older groups, I'd definitely welcome more assistance from new camp counselors. But yeah, we've been on a hiring effort since April to fill those spots. So we should be good right now, fingers crossed, but we'll see.
Right.
But that said, the position is still open on the website. So anybody that is interested can still submit an application, and we can review those as we need them. All right.
Through the chair, could you remind us of the deadline for the fundraising campaign for Martin Road?
Yes.
Please.
Good point. The deadline is going to be July 10th. We need to have all of our funds for that campaign in by July 10th in order to receive the match that I mentioned earlier.
Are you able to share where we're at right now?
I would be giving you a ballpark estimate.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was
That's
just
all right.
curious if we're getting close.
I'm not sure. I would have to ask Lorena for specific about the information about that.
Thanks.
Yep. All good? All right.
PD?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Captain Dan Kuzdale. I apologize, the chief was unavailable tonight, so I'm sitting in for him. To begin from news from the PD, a lot of you were here on Monday, June 1st. We have one of our new officers, Brooke Williamson. She was sworn in. She's beginning her FTO journey, so we wish her good luck. Another addition to our department. Briefly, just a couple of two upcoming community events that we're going to have here related to the PD. First is actually tomorrow, Tuesday, June 9th, from 6 to 8 p.m. At City Hall on the west side of the building. There we are hosting a paw protection microchip scanning station event. This event celebrates the installation of the new pet microchip scanning station located on the exterior of the west side of the City Hall. And this was sponsored by Second Chance's Animal Resource Center. Residents will have the opportunity to learn how the scanner works, receive free microchipping for the first 100 Ferndale pets. They will be able to donate pet supplies. This event is designed to help reunite lost pets pets with their owners while promoting community engagement and responsible pet ownership. The second event is Chillin' with the Chief, Popsicles in the Park. This is taking place on Tuesday, June 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. in Harding Park. This is a family-friendly opportunity for our residents to meet Chief Emmy and members of the Ferndale Police Department, including myself. It's going to be a relaxed setting. Community members can ask questions, enjoy free popsicles, get some police swag, and spend time getting to know the officers, like I said. So those are just a few of the quick couple of events that we have upcoming, and if there are no questions, I am all done. Thank you.
DDA?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Ferndale community. People may have seen our social media posts or recall from recent council meetings that DDA and DPW have significant sidewalk work happening this summer in the downtown. That started effectively today, starting at Livernois and working its way towards Woodward. So wanted to make sure that people were aware that there are going to be adjustments, namely that traffic is westbound only. So if you're going from Woodward to Livernois, that should be smooth. If you're going the reverse, that could be disrupted. There's also going to be some interruptions to on-street parking while we have this work, and we are working to keep things as normal as possible in the evenings. There will be two-way traffic in the evening, and the sidewalks should be open for the most part. As concrete and brick pavers are being removed, they will be infilled with gravel, so you can still walk across them or traverse them, but it's going to be different conditions than normal. So we encourage people to please watch where you're on the sidewalk, pay attention to the curbs, pay attention to the signage. We don't want people to miss an important sign about parking and get an inadvertent bad day in downtown Ferndale. We are working to complete this work before the end of July, so this will not interrupt our other major downtown events. And also, please make sure if you're still visiting our downtown businesses, they will be open. They would love to see you during this disruption period. But we are also really excited about the improvement this is going to be for the downtown experience for people who have any kind of mobility aids, getting across the sidewalks, a smoother feel in downtown Ferndale. Also, we have Summer Solstice Karaoke coming back to Schiffer Park next Friday. This is the return from a fun new endeavor we had last year with our friends at Parks and Rec. So it's going to be next Friday, June 19th at Schiffer Park, 9 Mile and Planavon. It's also Juneteenth. So we are recognizing that in the celebration of this year's theme. So we know it's going to be good tunes, good vibes, good times. Come and join us. The patio zone is in effect, so grab a bite to eat and a beverage and have some fun with us. Thanks very much.
Comms? Oh, sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, through the chair, I'm sorry. The westbound only traffic on 9 Mile, but there's two-way traffic in the evenings. Is the westbound only traffic end in July when the work is scheduled to be completed, or is that scheduled different?
Great question. So we're taking this in two phases. While we're working on the south side of the street, so if you're looking at 9 Mile, the south side was what we're working on currently through the end of July. So that means eastbound traffic could be interrupted during the day while they're working on that side of the street sidewalk. So the north side is going to be done in phase 2, which will happen in October through mid-November. So that we're getting everything kind of buttoned up before Dream Cruise weekend. Then we'll have DIY and Funky Ferndale Art Fair. So then October, north side work will begin, and it'll be the opposite. So it'll be eastbound only, and then while the north side sidewalk and westbound traffic lane are going to be affected. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And when it's eastbound only, it'll still be two-way traffic in the evenings as well?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So they're only closing down the traffic while they're actively working during the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to our partners with DPW and Comms for helping us to get this word out and managing this throughout the summer. So thank you all.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm here to announce that this Friday, myself and Macro Connect, our IT team, are going to be completely upgrading our city phone tree. And by phone tree, I mean when you call our 248-546-2525 number, you're met with a robot essentially that tells you, press this number for this department sort of thing. I've heard over the years that it's kind of difficult to navigate, it kind of takes callers in the wrong places, there's transferred calls, etc. So we're going to be completely changing the entire structure. I've worked with staff on getting a new script, so to speak, written. So staff has approved, where the calls are going, the order they're going. I looked at call data for this. And then we are also going to be adding a communications extension that is 111, which goes to myself and Hannah, our specialist. We're going to be infusing that all throughout the tree. So I will be here at our next meeting to give you more of a comprehensive presentation, but I just want to let you know the updates happening. I want to stress no phone numbers and extensions are changing. No phone numbers will be down. The only thing that will be temporarily down just that day will be the city main call tree. But DPW, non-emergency, 911, all that will be operable. I'm going to be putting out communication about this publicly. We did shoot for a Friday given that City Hall is closed, so there will be minimal disruption. And I will be sure to put in those communications what the main numbers and extensions that are going to be operable will be and how to reach them. If you give it a listen when it is posted afterward, please let me know if you have any feedback. Otherwise, I will talk to you more about it at the next meeting. Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to do this to you yet. I'll start over here. Councilmember Kelly.
I just want to welcome Councilmember LaSalle. Looking forward to working with you. All the work ahead that we want to do together. You did good on your first meeting.
Mayor Pro Tem Mikulski.
I'd echo that. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm also really looking forward to the event tomorrow, the paw protection event, and wanted to shout out to Dawn Woodman, who has been championing this in the community. I think it's really great that we finally have a pet scanner, and 100 pets being microchipped in Ferndale could be a real game changer for us with some of the loose animals that get around. And that's it.
Councilmember Sabatini.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly from that presentation, you can bring cats as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just had to, want to make sure
We have separate
folks know.
locations for the cats and the dogs,
Okay.
just so.
Shifts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very exciting. And then I want to echo Council Member Kelly's sentiment. Welcome, Councilmember LaSalle. Glad to have you. Excited to work with you on a lot of the things you talked about in your application process, affordability, housing, coming up with creative financial solutions to capital projects like community center. So welcome, great job, and happy you're here.
Thank you everyone for the warm welcome, and I'm very excited to serve the city. Yeah, shout out. My favorite part, are we saying our favorite part of the meeting? My favorite part was Parks and Rec. I love the Detroit Curling Club. I live down the street, so very excited to see the event that you guys are doing, the slumber party. I love that.
So a couple things. First, of course, welcome, Councilmembers LaSalle. Not too bad, right? You got your feet wet. You did great. All right. It's something I meant to mention last time. I received notification about this, but I want to just give the shout out now to Chief Robinson, who was sworn in as the 2N delegate to the executive board for the Michigan Association of Fire Chiefs. The notice here says she'll represent Oakland, Macomb, St. Clair, and is the first and only female to hold this position on the state executive board. So congratulations, Chief. I think this is your second trailblazer moment since I've been in office, so keep going. I also want to recognize the resolution that was adopted tonight regarding Juneteenth, and I'd like to read that. At a regular meeting of the City Council, City of Ferndale, Oakland County, Michigan, held in council chambers, Juneteenth is a national holiday observed in honor of June 19, 1865, the date when enslaved individuals in Texas became aware of their freedom over 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. And Juneteenth represents a dedication to liberty and equality for all Americans rooted in the values established in the Constitution, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. And Juneteenth serves as a moment for reflection, celebration, and a reminder to all that our greatest goals for equity, justice, and inclusion require ongoing efforts for necessary changes that are still needed. And we, the City Council, resolve to recognize June 19, 2026, Juneteenth Freedom Day, to honor African American history and culture, while also fostering understanding, freedom, and a robust sense of community, and resolve to place the Juneteenth flag outside the Ferndale City Hall, consistent with Council's resolution concerning flags on city property. And consequently, it hereby be resolved that the City Council proclaims this resolution to oppose and reject any form of oppression and pledge to support all people of Ferndale. And last, I just want to let everyone know that the City Council will be having, here at City Council Chambers, there will be a Juneteenth celebration where we'll have speakers. Typically, the speakers are students from Ferndale Public Schools, and that will be happening on June 18th due to the summer solstice happening, summer solstice, as I've been corrected, will be happening on June 19th. So that will be happening in council chambers on June 18th at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, the summer solstice will be the following day at, is it Schiffer? At Schiffer Park. All right, with that being said, thank you all. Safe travels home, and this meeting's adjourned at 8:55.
Just eat in that.